All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for Friday night, January 5th, 2024. Start with the hybrid swing portfolio. And this is Alcoa, 30-minute charts. That turning point, like we talked about yesterday, happened. It started with one final gap down and then a strong reversal off the bottom. Took the rebound entry. It ran through the dragon, through the PSAR, through the Bollinger Band mean, ran all the way up to the top. And then I took the exit at the skin of the dragon for a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 4R. Standard work. Classic morning hook in my favorite symbol. AI continued its slide with a collapsing dragon for an R and closed near the end of the day. Caterpillar caught a 2 entry. There was a lot of this today, the early strength. And then rollovers, which we took that little gain. There's the wrist box. There's the board. That's about a 0.8 R. It closed pretty well the rest of the day. That looks good for next week. I'm liking that one. Today felt like a recovery day and posturing for success next week. Cliff Natural Resources. This one, because of the weakness, I was ready for the downside like we had yesterday. And when this one ran up and really couldn't break above the dragon and the peak of the PSAR, when this started rolling over and crossed the Bollinger Band mean, I'm short. And then closed near the exit. 1 unit of risk, 1 unit of reward for +1. Because it did not fail further, I'm looking at this potentially being strong support around 19 and looking for a rebound out of here next week. And Cliff Natural Resources. CBS. Crossed the Bollinger Band mean, caught a 2 re-entry, 2R, again with the rollover. It breaks north of the Bollinger Band mean. The dragon is shaping up. Take the standard risk at the bottom of the dragon. It runs all the way up and then fades 1, 2, 3 exit. I take the 1, 2, 3 exit, not waiting for it to come all the way down to the dragon because I want to lock in 2R. Disney. No trade. Devon Energy. We covered the short for an R. This one had, we were holding 2R at the close. It closed here, but then this had a big gap up to here, so we just cashed it in order to lock in +1. That's what having that cushion gives you, is you don't stress that because you still get a winning trade. And then I didn't have the willpower to re-enter the short on the failure, and then it closed basically sideways. Emerging markets. This was another one that because of the weakness, I was looking to fade it, so it made the big run up. I didn't chase. Give me a 1, 2, 3 entry, and the R10 rolled over. So we took the short with the standard risk. And it held support at the PSAR. So we just cashed it when it recovered, and we made +1. Ethereum. Ethereum, no trade. Mexico, this one was nice. Big long slide, 5-day slide that we covered yesterday. Here was the big gap and go in the first half hour. At that point, I had to buy it with the standard risk, and this did nothing but continue and closed here. And we were able to hold that one all the way through. That's +5. Brazil took 2R off the quick move. Intel, no trade. There was a fade after the peak in there, but we didn't take it. IP. This one is now starting to show signs of life after this entire congestion area. When that whole thing finally dissolved and we finally had an indication of strength, this cleared, entered standard risk, ran all the way up, stabilized, and then started to fail, cashed. It sold off to here and then started to recover. I was thinking hard about the re-entry. I didn't take it, but then it made a nice move. So this cleared the previous peak. So I'm thinking this one has a good chance next week. So IP is back in play. And I like the look of it. Now, this thing has been at the tail end of a long slide, but the last couple days have been a recovery, and this now feels like it's back in play and ready to go. I like the fact that this series made a higher low than it did over here, so I think this has room to run. Like an IP going forward. IYR, real estate. This one was a huge gap down and recovery, and we took 1R on the morning bounce. Coke, collapsing dragon, sold off hard. We took the skin of the dragon exit for 1.5R. Routine. Regional banks, morning hook, 1R. McDonald's. Big gap down. We played the failure, but it never really fell further. So we took a fractional win. That starts to feel like a bottom is being put in. It's held support here 2 times. So I'm taking my cue from this feels like strong support in the past, and it provided this kind of a move twice. So this has started. I think if this breaks above whatever this is, 289, this thing has a nice chance to run. And then it has to get above here in order to really go. So the first play is to 292, and then after that it's to 297. I like the chances for this for next week. Mark. Well, the end of a nice run up. Today stabilized, did not fail, closed well. Be ready for the next leg up on Merck. Microsoft, the collapse has been in there. Every attempt to rally off the bottom here has failed in some way. Today was no exception. When the R10 peaked, I took the entry at the skin of the dragon, standard risk. It dropped like a stone and started to rebound, so we exited for 2R. Really like that one. It has to get above 372.5 to be a serious upward candidate. Marijuana. Beauty. The quiet channel broke just like it did a couple days ago. The PSAR flip hit. So just and then surprised us into that move. It ran all the way up here and then pulled back, and we cashed 4R. Nike. The slide continued. So this is your quiz for the day. How do you feel about this one? Would you cash that win? It's at the 30-day low. The last time it was here, it had strong moves. So now it's here again. There's a lot of people that made money on the short side. So now you wonder, do you hold that one over the weekend hoping for this with a gap?